businesses change over time. So people get more confident with creating stuff and doing it their own, especially after seeing, a few months of what I'm posting. It gives them a really good sounding board of, oh, okay, that's what I need to be doing. So sometimes social media, managers don't need to be there with you on that journey for a year, 2 years, forever. It can just be a couple of months to help you just completely refresh if you're at a complete standstill and have no idea where to go with your social media. Sometimes handing it over for that month will just give it that refresh that it needs. So whatever part of that process that people don't like, they can pass to me.
Hi and welcome to the Breakout Business Podcast, the small business podcast for small businesses.
Hello, this week we've got a Nisha takeover. As you can notice, I'm not Farley. It's been a while since I've done a podcast episode, but we figured why not? Mix it up a bit. Maybe you want to hear from me, I don't know. So today what I'm going to have a little chat with you all about is life of a social media manager. So I often get asked a lot, what do I actually do at Breakout? And while I do lots of different things, the majority of my time is taken up with being a social media manager. What does that mean? All of our clients that we have under us that want social media help, I manage most of their accounts. Farley still has a few, but the majority I look after. So that means at any given time, I'm probably about 10 to 13 different businesses. They're all just me in the background. So that can range from content creation, scheduling, everything. So messages and comments and everything. It really varies per client, but that's what I spend the majority of my time doing. That can look very different for every single client that we have. So there are some that simply give me content, so they shoot it themselves. All of that is done organically, in-house by them and their team. And then they just send it to me to be like, do something with it, make it content worthy, make it Instagram worthy. That's when I will go through and I will edit pictures, videos, make graphics, and then either send that back to them or schedule it for them. So that then means I'm looking at captions and hashtags and everything that I can put together to make that post as you see it going out. So I do that for some clients. There are some where I do absolutely everything. So they don't give me any content. Mainly the ones where what they do is maybe a little bit more trickier to emulate. So there aren't many pictures of certain things that you do. It's quite similar to our business where we're service based, so it's quite difficult to give you a picture of what we're up to in a day because it probably just looks like us at a laptop. So I can make graphics for them, so talking about the process of what they do, how they do it, everything in that, and then schedule those, put them out. Or even sometimes I just send those graphics off to them, and they post them themselves with their own captions. They just struggle with making the pretty side of it, I guess. For some accounts, I manage their messages, their comments, their likes. Any time you interact with that account, you're mainly interacting with me, and I'm replying to those comments as if I was a business. So actually, to be honest, being a social media manager, you end up taking on and being like 13 businesses, but that sounds really different replying to comments, replying to messages to each individual business because every single one has a different voice. But you get to know that business through and through. You get a new client and you think, oh God, I don't really know that much about building, for example, like a building company. But over the time that you manage their social media, you end up coming out with all these words and terms that you didn't know before you know it. You're writing as if you're in their business, and it seems a bit strange, but you really take on and embody that business as a whole. The benefit of having a social media is it does just take out all of that stress. So if you're somebody that doesn't like to sit and post, that struggles with words, that struggles to create beautiful content, that can be really difficult. You can just pass that over to me. So whatever part of that process that people don't like, they can pass to me. There are still some clients that I have that really love to create their own posts, but don't really know how to write the captions, don't really know what hashtags to use, don't know where to share it, don't really know how to engage with comments and reply. I can hold their hand for all of those bits and just take out the bits that they don't want to do and leave them with the creating the content that they want to create. So they take all the pictures, they take all the videos, they just send it to me. But that process looks very, very different for every single client and varies completely. Some I have minor involvement with and some I'm literally everything. So it's really dependent on what the client wants. So it's constantly changing as well because businesses change over time. So people get more confident with creating stuff and doing it their own, especially after seeing, a few months of what I'm posting. It gives them a really good sounding board of, oh, okay, that's what I need to be doing. So sometimes social media, managers don't need to be there with you on that journey for a year, 2 years, forever. It can just be a couple of months to help you just completely refresh if you're at a complete standstill and have no idea where to go with your social media. Sometimes handing it over for that month will just give it that refresh that it needs, another point of view, another set of eyes on it, and it will just give you a complete idea of what direction to go in from there. The benefit of having a social media manager that I don't think everybody really talks about is I spend my whole life on social media, like all of the time, whether it's for clients or literally just myself scrolling through TikTok and Reels every day. It means that I get to see what's trending a lot quicker than maybe you would as a business owner. You're busy, you're really busy, you're doing your accounts, you're doing your job, you're thinking of new ways to make your business work. You don't have time to sit and scroll on TikTok or Instagram for hours and hours on end and learn what all these trends are. But because I'm on it all the time, and if you have a social media manager, it'll be the same for them, we're always on the ball with it. We can see the trends as soon as they're fresh out the gate. So you can hop right on there at the right time rather than letting it pass and then doing it afterwards. And so we can look up trending audios for your video, trending what is working in terms of, is it statics that are coming back? Is it stories that are the most popular? Is it reels? Is it interactive content? So it varies all the time. Like, social media is quick, it's fast, you've got to be on the beat every single time to keep up with these trends, because I think, a few years ago, Reels and TikTok wasn't a massive part of having a business, whereas now I would say it's fundamental. It is like bread and butter. If you're not getting out static posts, it's not really that, doesn't matter that much, but that video content and that feeling connected to that business for your audience, for any audience, is absolutely key. And that changes all the time. I think stories have really made a big, influence. Whereas, again, a year ago, 2 years ago, it wasn't as important to post on your story. Now, if you're not posting daily, you just get lost in the algorithm. And I think that's also another point. It's keeping on top of, what does the algorithm push? What's it doing? I think everyone talks about it as if it's a dark art and it's really confusing. And I guess if you don't spend much time on social media, that is very true. But for a social media manager, it's very quick to see those trends in anybody's content of what's working and what isn't working and adjust it and make it work around that. So, saying that, there are some accounts where reels don't work as well or stories don't work as well. It's very individual, and having someone that can sit and look through those analytics and understand them and take action from them is really key, because I think as a business owner, you can very easily look and say, oh, well, that reel got 400 likes. That one got 200 likes and maybe 50 people are seeing my story. What does that mean? What's that next step from that? What is that data telling me? A social media manager just knows that, okay, I need to adjust my strategy. I need to change it up. So our goal isn't always to get you, 50,000 views and be viral and have the most popular videos, because realistically, a lot of those views aren't going to be paying customers. They're not going to be the audience that you need them to be. Yeah, you'll gain a following from it, but again, some of them might not be relevant. If you're getting, 100,000 views on your video, that's great, but people from Scotland are viewing it and they're not buying into your service or your product because they're literally the other side of the country, local. And it's important thinking about who your customer is, where they are, where they're based. So, for a lot of business owners that we talk to, it's people in and around Suffolk and Essex. It's that niche down audience of people that are going to buy your product, that are going to buy your services, that are local to you, that are going to see you at markets or, engage with your Instagram and get in touch to book an appointment. That's more important than 50,000 viewers, because you could have 3 that result in new clients because they're in the right place, it's the right audience, or you could have 100,000 and they're scattered across the UK or even further that are never gonna come to your market and they're never gonna see you. It's great to have the support there and boost your social media, of course, but realistically, the result of social media, not only are we keeping people up to date, but realistically, we want people to buy from us. We want them to buy our services, buy our goods. And getting to know you and being local is the key to that. So I often get asked what my tips are for people to manage their social media. I think it's easy to look at a social media manager and go, how on earth are you managing 13 different companies all at once? How are you juggling them all? And I guess when you say it like, yeah, I manage 13 companies social media full time, sounds really confusing and like, oh my God, how do you balance that? So I'm going to give you guys a few top tips that I use and I live by to keep me being productive, to keep me moving forward and managing and juggling all these different businesses that have different voices and need different things. So you in your business or businesses, I know a few of you are, busy with a few different things, some tips so you can manage your social media and schedule yourself better and hopefully have a bit of a better work-life balance. I know a lot of you say that doing social media ends up being a 1 a.m, midnight kind of job because you've not got any time to do it. So hopefully these tips will give you a hand with planning your time a little bit better. So number 1 is to plan ahead with a content calendar. So what does that mean? Literally get a diary or a calendar or even use a spreadsheet, to be honest. Whatever resource works best for you. There are people that use visuals, so I'm like that. I need to see like a calendar in front of me with it sort of laid out day by day what's happening. You can even use Meta, which is a scheduling tool which we'll get onto, but even that has a calendar on it, and if that's what works with your brain, use it. Don't just go with, oh, well, she said to use a spreadsheet, so I have to use a spreadsheet. If that does not work for you and your creativity, leave it, do something else. But your most important tool is to plan ahead. Think about, okay, a month from now, what's happening in this month? What days are coming up that are relevant? Is it Easter? Are there bank holidays? Getting into Christmas. When's Christmas? When's New Year's? It's thinking about, away from the business, everything that's happening in that month. Because making content that is relevant to those is a real big key and will help boost your business. For example, if you've got a food company or a food delivery service, thinking about, okay, Easter, okay, what happens at Easter? You need hot cross buns. There's chocolate. There's eggs. All of those things will then change what you're posting. So by planning ahead and coming to it, rather than coming to it in real time, because it's really easy to be like, oh my God, Easter's around the corner. I haven't posted anything. I've got all this Easter stock that I need to get rid of, and I haven't posted about it. If you know a month in advance, Easter's coming, I need to plan content for it, it gives you time to put it into your diary and then plan around that. Okay, well, I know that next month is Easter, so I'm going to have to think about it 2 weeks in advance, make sure I've got stuff coming out from it constantly. Tip number 2 is to batch create your content. This is literally the one that I live and die by. So this is a thing that really, really helps me the most. Obviously, for myself, being in lots of different companies, it's too difficult every week to sit there and flip in and out of all these different accounts and remember, okay, I posted that last week, I posted that 2 weeks ago, because you'll find that when you're doing social media, a lot of it is repetitive. You're saying the same things or selling the same things, talking about the business, who you are, what you do, but you need to keep it up to date. So yeah, you may have posted a Who Are We post about 6 months ago, but anybody looking through your profile now isn't going to find it. If it's not in those top 9 squares of Instagram, many people aren't going scrolling for it. So you want to keep it constant. The thing with batch creation means that for a month, so if I want to post twice a week for a month, you need 8 posts. So make those 8 posts one after the other all together. You'll realise that you're in the flow, it makes much more sense, and you can pick out the bits that you haven't said. So yeah, you've done a post on Who Are We? You haven't done a post of how to book. You haven't done a post of your call to action. You haven't done a post of this new product. It makes it so much more easier to see what you have and haven't posted about in that month. When you're creating, it also makes it a lot easier as well, because you've made one graphic, for example, you can just sort of copy and paste it and edit it a little bit to make the next one. You can also recycle content. So say you're on Canva and you've made 80 odd posts, go back to the top, redo them, re-look at content that you've already made and recycle it, repurpose it, change it up. Because again, if it's on your profile from 9 months ago, realistically, is anybody scrolling 9 months ago? Yes, if we're having a bit of a stalk and we really want to have a deep dive into what that person's doing, but realistically, most of your customers are not scrolling back to 9 months ago. So if you posted about it then and it's still relevant, post it again, just make it look a bit different or change up the wording. It's very easy to just give these little tweaks and it looks like entirely new content. So batch creation is a really, really important tool to keep you from feeling burnt out by it. I think it can feel really overwhelming that there's so much to talk about and there's so much to cover, especially for like businesses like ours. We do so many different things. It can feel really overwhelming sometimes to think, oh, I haven't posted about content creation. Oh, I haven't posted about email marketing. Oh, I haven't posted about SEO. There's so much we can post about. Having it all in a batch list is much easier for me to just at a quick glance look at what I have and haven't made in a while, what I have and haven't posted. So then it doesn't feel like I've got to sit there for absolute hours and make loads of content for a month. You'd be surprised how quick you can make a month's worth of content. Like I said, if you kind of know roughly how much you want to post, say you want to post 3 times a week, that's only 12 images or, 12 things, videos, images. Realistically, that's not actually that long. I think for me, that would probably be a good couple of hours, but that's it. You're then done for the month. You don't really have to think about it until next month, which gives you so much more time to focus on absolutely everything else that you have to do as a business owner. So much easier. I think that's probably, of all of these, my favourite tip, and the one that I would tell you to really go away and have a look at. Give it a try, and I think it'll be a game changer. Tip number 3, use those scheduling tools. There are loads now. There are lots of different things to use for seamlessness. So using one platform to schedule for everything. You can do that. Personally, I just like using the scheduling tools that are available within the apps. So Meta is obviously the biggest one, which I'm hoping most of you have heard of. But if you haven't, it's part of Facebook's business suite. It's called Meta for Business. And basically, when you have a page on Facebook, you can link that to your Instagram. So set it up so they're posting across both simultaneously. So you don't have to sit and post on Facebook and post on Instagram, schedule it on Instagram, schedule it on Facebook. It does it across both platforms. You can alter the dates and the times. So if you wanted it to go out at 9 a.m. on Facebook, but 9:30 on Instagram, you can do that all in one place. It has sort of like the weeks laid out, so you can have a quick glance at what you've got scheduled. You can have a look at what you scheduled 4 months ago because it saves all of it, and you can go back and look. But I find the scheduling tool on there really easy to use, really user-friendly. I think it gets quite complicated with a lot of them, especially the ones that are multi-social media channeled. It can look a bit confusing. Go back to basics. Have a little play around with Meta, because once you've used your batch creation to create your 4 weeks of content, you can then schedule that all in Meta to go out on Instagram and Facebook. And that really is you done for that month. You don't have to copy and paste over the captions and the hashtags, which can take a really long time. That can be really lengthy. Scheduling with Meta, once you've batch created that content, you just need to sit and schedule it. And that can take usually about an hour, really, because most of the time you kind of know what you want to say in the caption once you've made the content itself. So really easy tool, really easy to get to grips with, and scheduling just saves so much mental capacity, because if I had to post daily for any of the clients that I had, it would be so confusing. I'd get so lost with what I had posted, what I haven't posted. By batch creating and scheduling it all, you're doing it all within a day. I guarantee you it would take you less than a day to create 12 pieces of content and schedule them all on Instagram, on Meta for Instagram and Facebook. You would then be done for the whole month. I think it can feel really overwhelming, especially if you feel like you need to post every day. Sitting, making that content, writing the caption, doing the hashtags, posting it out. That does take ages. If I did that every post, that would take me an hour. Doing it all together, absolute time saver. So I would always recommend looking at Meta for business, for your business suite. So easy to use. If you have any questions, if you are getting stuck with it, if you're finding you just can't get on with it, then just give us a call, give us an email, and I can really help with that. Farley can help with that. Once you've got to grips with it, it feels so seamless. I will also add that Instagram now has its own scheduling option. I find that a little bit trickier to find, so it is in a little bit more of the settings when you're going to post. However, really handy for scheduling reel content. That's usually what I use it for. Or if you've got content that you just want going out on Instagram, recommend using that as well. Really good. Haven't had any problems with it. But again, if you're getting stuck with it, you don't know where it is, you can't find it, literally just drop us a message. One of us will give you a reply and help you out. It's pretty easy once you know how. Tip number 4 is to engage with your audience. Don't just post. I think it's really easy to see social media as another chore because, yeah, realistically, when you're a business owner, you've got so much to do. It is just another thing on the list. However, take a step back and give yourself some time to use social media how you use your personal social media, in the sense of you can see other people creating things. I know a lot of us local business owners follow other local business owners. go over to their page, give them a like, comment on what they're doing, share their post, because not only is it really lovely and it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling to know that other content creators and other businesses are liking what you're doing and paying attention, it will help boost your engagement right back. Because if you're engaging with everybody and you're commenting and liking, it's going to suggest your post to more people because they can see that you're an active user. It also just adds a bit more life and fun and less seriousness into it. I think it's really easy, to get bogged down by, I've got to post, oh, I've got to be on Instagram, oh, I've got to be on Facebook. Take a minute, take literally 15 minutes, barely anything. You can even do it when you sat with a cup of tea scrolling. Just go through and like some other posts, give some comments, reply to your comments, reply to your messages, and engage with the local community. You'd be really surprised how much impact that has, not only to other people, but to your social media. And like I said, just gives it a bit more fun, takes it away from being this chore, and gives it a bit more of a personal touch. Number 5 is to track and adjust based on your insights. So, like I said earlier, having a look at what's working and what isn't working. Your insights on Meta and on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, any single social media site, you will have your insights button. It can look really, really confusing at first to see what your insights are showing you. It can just seem like, wow, that's a bunch of numbers, because as somebody that isn't very mathematical, or, numbers don't make all that much sense. At first, it looks so overwhelming to literally just look at all these numbers and be like, what is this actually telling me? Once you break it down, you can see what's working for you, what isn't working for you, what kind of post is getting more likes, what's getting more engagement, what's reaching further, what's getting shared, what's getting more comments. There's so much nitty gritty. We're really lucky, actually, that insights are just free with our accounts, because it absolutely breaks down and tells you exactly what is working for your social media business. No, for your business on social media, and what isn't. You could be posting the most gorgeous static content, which realistically with Breakout happens a lot. You'll see on our account, I'll sit there making gorgeous graphics on Canva, but they're not the ones that are getting views. They're not the ones that are being pushed to new audiences. They're the ones with the least amount of views, the least amount of likes, the ones where Farley's just sat in her car talking to her phone about something that's happened that day. Those are the ones that people love to watch. So it doesn't make sense me spending all of my time sitting and making content that isn't working for our business. It's much easier to, in our case, delegate that to Farley and get her to create those videos, which are much easier and simpler to create than me spending hours on Canva making beautiful graphics. But without those insights, I wouldn't know that. You would just be blind to it. And I think if you're posting and not looking at your insights, you're not taking advantage of the audience that you have. It's literally telling you what your audience want to see. And why wouldn't you give them what they want to see? They're the ones buying into your business. They're the ones that want to know more about you. So giving them the content that they want is going to be so beneficial to your account and your growth organically. So yeah, my last tip there, number 5, really look at your insights. They're so important. If you're really struggling with them, you're looking at them and feeling so lost, have no idea what they're telling you, again, drop us a message, give us a call, give us an email. We can literally sit with you for an hour, me or Farley, and we can explain to you on every single social media platform exactly what your insights are telling you and how to read them. Maybe even a course coming soon on how to read your insights a little bit better. If that's something you guys would be interested in, whether it be an in-person or an online, let us know and we can create that. So then you can literally just refer back to it whenever you need. But we've got a few different online courses in the pipeline. So again, anything you want to see, anything you can think of that you want, let me know. Especially if they're social media based, if there's literally anything across anything that I've just said that you're like, I have no idea what you're still talking about and I don't know where to start with it, let me know. I can do you a course, I can do you a one-to-one, and we can get it sorted so your social media is working for you. Last thing to say is social media is what you make it. So a social media manager is a great tool, but again, it comes with a massive expense and it isn't for everyone. There are really some businesses now and business owners that we meet that talk about, oh, I want someone to do my social media for me. And we will openly tell them, it doesn't make sense for me to do your social media. There really are some businesses where it needs to be you. It needs to be you speaking. It needs to be you making that content in the pictures, everything. It depends on the business, like I say. For example, our business, if we were never on it, it would be really difficult for us to get new clients because they wouldn't know us. They wouldn't know who they're buying into. So don't think that a social media manager is the answer. It isn't. It isn't always the answer. And that's not to talk ourselves out of work, but it doesn't work for everyone and it doesn't need to. You'd be surprised how much you can do and you can get done and how easy you can make doing your own social media by using those 5 top tips, or even just sitting down with one of the team one-to-one and let us help you create a plan and make it make sense. So you can do it yourself. It's still authentically you and it's not costing you an arm and a leg, because that's not what you need. You're a business owner. You're busy. You've got enough outgoings. The best advice we can always say to you is to do it yourself. So hopefully those tips can give you a bit of insight and give you a bit of help. But anything else, you know where we are. I really hope you enjoyed a slightly different episode with some tips and with me, who is not Farley. Let me know if you want anything else, if you've got any questions for a social media manager, anything else you want me to talk about. And I will hopefully see you all on the podcast again soon. Bye.
There is so much more we can go through in terms of how to set up a business and what to do. But if you've got any questions, get in touch with us. We're always here to help because honestly, we really, really hope this is all free information and it will really, really help someone set up a business and really live the life that they want to live and give them the time and make the money that they need to make their business a success. So, as always, for a small business podcast, like and subscribe because that massively helps us. Leave us a review. And as always, get in touch if you need us because we're always here for you. Thanks for listening.